In the quiet, picturesque town of Eldridge, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, stood an old, abandoned mansion known as Blackwood Manor. The manor had been the subject of local lore for generations, whispered about in hushed tones and avoided by all but the bravest or most foolish of souls. The stories varied, but they all shared a common theme. The manor was haunted, and those who dared to enter never returned the same. I had always been fascinated by Blackwood Manor. As a child, I would listen to the tales told by the town's elders, my imagination running wild with visions of ghostly apparitions and hidden secrets. Now, as an adult, I found myself drawn to the manor once again, this time with a determination to uncover the truth behind the legends. The manor stood at the end of a long, winding driveway, its once grand facade now faded and overgrown with ivy. The iron gate creaked ominously as I pushed it open, the sound echoing through the silent grounds. The air was thick with the scent of decaying leaves and the faint, lingering aroma of old roses. As I approached the front door, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The windows of the manor seemed to stare down at me, their glass panes reflecting the fading light of the setting sun. I took a deep breath and turned the rusted doorknob, the door creaking open to reveal the dark, cavernous interior. The entrance hall was grand, with a sweeping staircase leading up to the second floor. The walls were adorned with faded tapestries and dusty portraits, their subjects staring down at me with blank, lifeless eyes. The air was musty and damp, filled with the scent of old wood and decay. I made my way through the manor, exploring each room with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. The living room was filled with antique furniture, the upholstery faded and torn. The dining room boasted a long, wooden table, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust. The kitchen was a relic of a bygone era, with a cast-iron stove and vintage appliances. It was in the library that I found the first clue to the manor's dark past. The room was filled with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves, their shelves lined with ancient tomes and yellowed manuscripts. In the center of the room stood a large, ornate desk, its surface covered in a thick layer of dust. As I approached the desk, I noticed a small, leather-bound journal tucked away in a corner. The journal was filled with neat, elegant handwriting, its pages yellowed with age. I picked it up and began to read, my heart pounding with anticipation. The journal belonged to Lady Elizabeth Blackwood, the last known inhabitant of the manor. Her entries were dated from the late 1800s, and as I read, I realized they were accounts of strange and terrifying occurrences within the manor. Lady Elizabeth wrote of hearing whispers in the night, of seeing shadowy figures moving in the corners of her eyes, and of feeling an oppressive presence that seemed to follow her wherever she went. One entry, in particular, sent a shiver down my spine. October 12, 1895. The whispers have grown louder, more insistent. They call my name in the dead of night, their voices cold and malevolent. I see shadows moving in the corners of my eyes, their forms shifting and writhing as if made of smoke. I fear for my safety, for the safety of my family. I must find a way to banish these dark spirits, to free my home from their grasp. I turned the page, my heart pounding. The next entry was even more chilling. October 15, 1895. I have found an old spell book in the library, hidden among the dusty tomes. It speaks of dark rituals and ancient curses. I believe the shadows are the manifestations of one such curse, a vengeful spirit bound to this manor. I must perform the ritual to banish them, but I fear the consequences. The journal ended abruptly, the final pages torn out. I felt a cold dread settle in my stomach. What had happened to Lady Elizabeth? Had she truly performed the ritual, and if so, what were the consequences? Determined to find answers, I decided to spend the night in the manor. I brought a sleeping bag, a lantern, and some supplies, settling in for what I hoped would be an enlightening experience. As the sun set and the darkness enveloped the manor, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The night was eerily quiet, the only sound the distant hoot of an owl. I tried to read more of Lady Elizabeth's journal, but my eyes grew heavy, and I soon drifted off to sleep. I awoke with a start, the sound of whispers echoing through the manor. My heart raced as I grabbed my lantern and made my way to the center of the room. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, and I could feel a cold presence pressing down on me. Suddenly, I saw them, the shadowy figures moving in the corners of my eyes. They were tall and menacing, their forms shifting and writhing as if made of smoke. I felt a chill run down my spine as the shadows moved towards me, their cold gaze locked onto mine. Panic surged through me as I stumbled backward, my lantern clattering to the floor. The shadows grew larger, their forms expanding to fill the room. I could feel their malevolent intent, their cold, oppressive presence pressing down on me. With a surge of adrenaline, I scrambled to my feet and ran, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't stop until I was outside, gasping for breath in the cool night air. As I looked back at the manor, I saw the shadows standing in the windows, their forms silhouetted against the moonlit sky. In the days that followed, I tried to put the experience behind me, but the shadows and their malevolent presence lingered in my mind. I returned to my normal life, but the memory of that night remained vivid. The manor and its dark secret haunted me, and I knew I had to find a way to banish the shadows for good. I spent hours researching ancient curses and dark rituals, hoping to find a solution. And then, one day, as I was searching through Lady Elizabeth's old books, I found it, the spell book she had mentioned in her journal. It was a thick, leather-bound tome, its pages filled with arcane symbols and ancient incantations. With the spell book in hand, I returned to the manor. I approached the shadows cautiously, my heart pounding. I opened the book and began to recite the incantation, my voice trembling with fear and determination. The shadows seemed to grow larger, their forms writhing and shifting in pain as the incantation was recited. I continued to recite the incantation, my voice growing louder, more insistent. Suddenly, the shadows let out a piercing scream, a sound that echoed through the manor and sent a chill down my spine. And then, as suddenly as they had appeared, the shadows vanished, leaving me alone in the manor. The room grew silent, the only sound the distant hoot of an owl. I took a deep breath, my heart filled with a mix of relief and sadness. I had banished the shadows, but at what cost? In the days that followed, I returned to my normal life, but the memory of the shadows and the dark ritual lingered in my mind. The manor at Eldridge remained a constant presence, a reminder of the mysterious and the unknown. And so, the manor stood, its secrets hidden within its walls, its past a dark enigma that would forever remain a mystery. The shadows in the manor had shown me a glimpse into the unknown, a tale of the past that would haunt me for the rest of my days. Yet, as I looked back on my experience, I couldn't help but wonder, what other secrets did the manor hold? What other mysteries lay hidden within its walls? The manor at Eldridge would forever remain a dark enigma, a tale of the unknown that would haunt me for the rest of my days. As the years passed, I found myself drawn back to the manor time and time again. Each visit revealed new layers of its dark history, new whispers of the past that echoed through its halls. I became obsessed with uncovering the truth, with understanding the shadows and the curse that had plagued Lady Elizabeth and her family. One autumn evening, as I stood in the library, surrounded by the ancient tomes and yellowed manuscripts, I felt a sudden chill run down my spine. The air grew colder, and I could feel a presence behind me. I turned slowly, my heart pounding in my chest. Standing before me was a figure, tall and ethereal, her form shimmering in the dim light. It was Lady Elizabeth, her eyes filled with a mix of sadness and gratitude. She reached out, her hand gentle as it touched my cheek. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice soft and melodic. "You have freed me from my eternal torment. The shadows are gone, and I can finally rest in peace." I felt a lump form in my throat as I looked into her eyes. "What happened to you?" I asked, my voice choked with emotion. What was the true nature of the curse? Lady Elizabeth smiled softly, her form beginning to fade. The curse was a dark spell, cast by a vengeful spirit seeking revenge. It bound the shadows to the manor, trapping them in an eternal cycle of torment. But you have broken the cycle, and for that, I am eternally grateful. With a final, gentle touch, Lady Elizabeth faded away, leaving me alone in the library. The room grew silent, the only sound the distant hoot of an owl. I took a deep breath, my heart filled with a sense of peace and closure. In the days that followed, I returned to the manor one last time. I stood in the entrance hall, looking up at the grand staircase, and I felt a sense of finality. The manor's dark past had been laid to rest, its secrets revealed, and its shadows banished. As I walked away from the manor, the iron gate creaking shut behind me, I knew that I would never return. The manor at Eldridge would stand as a testament to the mysterious and the unknown, a reminder of the dark secrets that lurk in the shadows. And so, my journey came to an end, a tale of mystery, fear, and the supernatural that would forever remain etched in my memory. The manor at Eldridge, with its whispers of the past and its shadows of the unknown, would forever be a part of me, a dark enigma that would haunt me for the rest of my days. Yet, as I looked back on my experience, I couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude. The manor had shown me the power of determination, the strength of the human spirit, and the importance of uncovering the truth. It had taught me that even in the darkest of places, there is always a glimmer of hope, a light that can guide us through the shadows. And with that knowledge, I walked away from the manor, my heart filled with a mix of sadness and relief. The manor at Eldridge would forever remain a dark enigma, a tale of the unknown that would haunt me for the rest of my days. But it would also remain a testament to the power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of places, there is always a glimmer of hope.